What's up, everybody? All right, folks are signing in. I hope you had a great, happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, and you're ready for the new year. Coach Noah here. What's going on? Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. Here we go. Every single webinar that I teach, every class that I teach, I'm really big on making it known that this is a risky business, right? This is a risky business for folks who do not know what they are doing. Some might say a dangerous business to be in. I don't know. It's all about education and really understanding what it is that you're doing. The last thing that anyone at Private Money Club wants someone to do is just go out and fund a real estate deal without any knowledge. We want to make sure that you know what questions to ask. We want to make sure that you know what documents are important to help secure your loan and things like this. Look, I love private money lending. I use private money lenders almost exclusively in my real estate investing business for fix and flips, for short-term rental properties, things like this, wholesale deals. I love it. Doesn't matter if it's a beautiful house on the lake or a mobile home deal or something like that we're doing. Private money is the way to go, in my opinion. I don't know where else a person can borrow all the funds that they need to purchase a property and renovate it without having to go to a bank or use their own funds. At the same time, I don't know where else a person can make a nice double-digit rate of return and have it secured by real estate that's worth much more. So it's this ultimate win-win. But a big reason why I started teaching these weekly webinars when Chris and the Private Money Club team asked me to was because I actually had friends that lost money private money lending, and they would come to me and say, hey, this was supposed to only be a 6-month loan, Noah, and it's been 18 months. I'm like, oh my goodness. All right, what happened? Did you have this document? Did you have this document? Did you have this document prepared before you did this deal? And they said no. And I said, okay, well, did you ask these questions, these questions, these questions? And they said no. I'm like, what on earth were you thinking? And they're like, well, I saw the interest rate. They looked like they were great on Facebook. And, I just went with it. Dumb idea. All right. So we want to make sure that we are educated, whether you're a borrower, how do we become a great borrower? Whether you're a lender, how do we become great at lending? Right. And these are the things that we work on every single week here. But if I didn't tell you this business, if I got up here and just said, oh, there's nothing to, oh, it's secured by the asset, everything's fine, that'd be silly, right? That'd be silly. So we got to make sure we're doing our due diligence, not just on the properties, but also on the people that we're lending to, right? So if you appreciate that, let me get a big oh yeah in the chat box if you appreciate me talking about the risk. And by the way, if you want to be great at borrowing money, talk about the risks. Talk about the risks. Understand what the risks are so that you can put systems in place to help reduce those risks, right? Because I promise you, the lenders are thinking about what the risks could be. And they're probably going to ask you that. If I, I would even, if I was a lender and if I was interviewing a new borrower, I'd say, okay, this deal sounds great. Sounds great to work with you. Tell me what the risks are. And if they're like, well, there are no risks, I would run in the other direction, right? So we want to make sure that we talk about the risks. I think talking about this stuff adds credibility to our business, which is awesome. So again, welcome everybody. Noah Harris here. You can call me Coach Noah. We've got 99 people on the call, which is awesome to see the day after Christmas. So that says a lot about you. I know a lot about you because you're on this call with me practicing and talking private money right now. So if you're brand new, welcome. My name is Noah Harris. I'm with the Private Money Club. I am a real estate investor out of Columbia, South Carolina. Lots of times I'll use a company called Revive Homes LLC in my case studies. That's my wife and I's fix and flip business. That's been around since 2013. We're based out of Columbia, South Carolina. My goal is for everyone that I come in contact with is what I hope for you. And that's a 100% track record, 100% track record with your lenders. If I can help someone on this call avoid a mistake, if I can help someone on this call do a deal the right way, explain something to a lender the right way that ends up funding their deal, and then they're able to go out and put it together a nice little profit for themselves. 100% track record. That's what we work on every single week. I'm also a coach for Private Money Club. I coach a class called the Accelerator course. I saw someone actually say that they're signed up for the next Accelerator course. Who was that? If you're signed up for the next one, which by the way, it starts January 27th, or if you have taken my Accelerator class, type it in the chat box. I just want to see some of my friends' names there. Justin, that's what it was. Justin signed up for the next one. Awesome, Justin. Looking forward to working with you. So I teach a class called the Accelerator program for PMC, and we meet twice a week for 4 straight weeks and a couple hours every call where we just dive in And I help people kind of, literally, that's why it's called the accelerator. I help you speed up the learning process of how to present deals, how to analyze deals, how to underwrite, and a good understanding of the business, which is awesome. So that's cool. At any point in time, if you have a question like Susan's asking, hey, I'd like to maybe take that, you can click on the link or just text Jose. Jose will put the link in the chat box, and you can go and you can enroll in whatever class you want to take care of and knock out and learn from. Right, there he is. All right, cool. Now remember, this is a relationship-based business. Okay, so I like talking about this stuff all the time because yes, it is relationship based, meaning I love being able to pick up the phone. I love being able to shoot a couple text messages and sit to someone who I think would be a great lender for one of my deals and saying, hey, how's things going? How's life? How's family? How's the kids? How was your Christmas? Are you interested in funding one of our deals? Here's what the numbers look like. It's a lot different than a bank, right? But because this is relationship based, remember, you are responsible for building those relationships. Okay, you are the one that is responsible for building those relationships. So I can teach you everything I know. We can talk about things all day long, but how many phone calls are you having? How many live events are you going to? Like, where are you meeting people, whether it's virtually, on Zoom? We got to build relationships, right, before we just start lending. Right. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. But hey, if you want to be great at borrowing, then I would place a very high value on your lender relationships. And if you want to be great at lending, guess what? You place a very high value on your borrower relationships, right? And you guys, we all work together and we help one another hit our goals, which is awesome. So, all right, cool. I love it. I love it. Justin says, Jose sent me some old videos of the accelerator class. I'm assuming you're talking about. I've already redid my bio since it wasn't that great. Okay, that's awesome. Hopefully the second time around is good enough. All right, cool. We'll check it out, Justin. I might have to pull you up here and see live on the call. I don't know if I can figure out how to do that, but we'll see if we can pull up your profile. Game plan. So every single Thursday, 1:00, we start on time. We keep it real estate. So if you're here to learn how to borrow funds to buy a property, fix up, flip, renovate, to buy a rental property, to buy Airbnb, midterm rental, to get some transactional funding, to do wholesale deals, whatever. If you're here for real estate, you're in the right place. If you love the idea of putting your money to work, having it secured by real estate that's worth much more, while you make a nice double-digit rate of return potentially, right? You're in the right place, right? That's what we're talking about here, real estate. I know in Private Money Club, there's all kinds of cool opportunities sometimes, but we are a real estate business. And I only like to teach what I do. So I'm not going to talk about anything, other types of investments or anything like that. Only real estate investing. Got it? Say got it? All right, cool. I'm pretty sure everyone's got that. If you have any questions, you can type them in the Q&A section. I stop at 1:30 to answer questions. And then at the end, around 2:00, I'll answer questions. Here's the thing with questions. If you have any questions that are like very specific to you, where you're like, hey, I have a deal and this is the details. What do you think? I'll probably answer that at the end. If it's a question that I think everyone could benefit from hearing the answer on, then I'll do my best to answer that question at the midway point or as we go. All right. So if you have any questions for Private Money Club, signing up for a class, being a premier member in Private Money Club, or anything like that, you can type it in the chat, click the link, talk to Jose. But if it's anything like private money, like a question, like what would you do if you were me, Noah, type of thing, then post it in the Q&A section, which is awesome. All right, I love this. Here's a good, so I just told everyone to post questions in the Q&A, but there was a really good question just sent, and you guys can't see it because it's sent to me, host and panelist here. And the question is, how do you find money investors? How do you find lenders, right? How do you find lenders? That's a great question, Mr. Clark. I love it. Let's tell him, Jose. How do you do it? How do you do it? Well, before we talk about how we do it, Mr. Mark, let's talk about what a private money lender is. Okay. And this is great practice. I've had this slide in here the last couple of weeks. I haven't taken it out because I think this is great practice. It's good to reiterate what we're trying to accomplish here with this slide here. Let me ask you, everyone on this call, a question. What do you think of when you hear the term private lender? Type it in the chat box. What do you think of when you hear the term private lender? What do you guys think of? What do you think of? Type it in the chat. Lucy says me. All right, there you go, Mark. Lucy's a lender. Just message Lucy and you are all set. Just think, Julie says the same thing. So all you got to do is just message Julie. You're good to go. All right. Someone says here, a person, right? Some people think higher rates. Bill says someone with money that lends it out. Someone says a relative lending money. You know how many deals I had to do before a family member actually got involved? It would be shocked. I don't know if you'd be shocked or not. If your family is like my family, I think we were probably at least over 50 deals before a family member got involved. Isn't it funny how that works? Andrew says non-bank individual, right? I love it. Not the bank. Anyone. Okay, so this is a cool one. This person said anyone, family, friends that you can borrow money from. Someone says hard money lender, right? Okay, cool. Now here's what's good to know. Hard money community. Here's what's good to know. Like, and maybe you try this out, right? Because here's what's going to happen. If you start explaining private money lending to, let's just say you're going to a New Year's Eve party, right? And Frank says someone with deep pockets. Maybe. If you're going to the New Year's Eve party and you're networking, you're talking, I mean, you're having conversations, right? I say networking, but you're just having a good time. It's common for people to say, hey, what do you do for a living? Tell me about yourself. Oh, I'm in real estate. Really? Oh, really? Tell me about that. I've always wanted to do that. And you can get on the topic of private money lending, right? And so if I'm talking to someone at a party or networking, family member, friend, like I'm always asking them, hey, what do you do for a living? And when someone tells me what they do for a living, I can get a good idea of what type of private money lender they could be. Are they someone that could lend today? Are they someone that would lend in the future? Are they someone that is retired and has retirement accounts? Maybe they have a self-directed account. In my mind, I'm thinking all of these things, but I believe that anyone can be a private money lender. It's just about finding the right deal for that person. Are they going to be a lender today? Are they going to be a lender tomorrow? Right? So private money lenders, you guys hit the nail on the head. It's people. But if we went and Googled, because if you have a conversation with someone, they might Google it. What's a private money lender? There's going to be millions of hits that come up, and it's probably going to say, Google's going to tell them, hey, private money lender is a lot of it's going to be funds. It's going to be an institution. It's going to be a fund of some sort where there's people that are in charge of getting that money out there and working for their investors, right? So in that bucket, private money lending is simply non-traditional banking, right? So if I were to go to Wells Fargo for a mortgage, Wells Fargo has all of these boxes that they want to see checked, and they might do some investments, but they're very limited, right? What they're looking for is like the home buyer, right? The residential, primary residence type of mortgage. And they have all these boxes that they're going to check, and then they're going to go sell the loan. Okay. So there's a lot of what we think of when we hear private money lender is a person. All right. It's a person, right? So there's no right or wrong here, but in the context of private money lender for our space here with Private Money Club in this webinar, we're talking people, right? We're talking people. So to answer your question, here's what I love. It's so funny, Jose. This is becoming my favorite part of the webinar. Is really, let's do a roll call here. All right. So if you are a real estate investor or inspiring real estate investor, and you love the idea of using a private lender to fund your real estate deals, I'm going to put you in the borrower box. So if you are a borrower on this call, type borrower in the chat box. Just type borrower. That's me. Real estate investor, borrower. All right. Thank you, Andrew. All right, cool. Here they come. All right, cool. I love it. All right. On the flip side of that, who's on this call because you love the idea of putting your money to work and having it secured by real estate that's worth much more? All right, Bill, a couple of you are already putting your answer in there. Where are my lenders at? Type lender in the chat box. All right, cool. I love it. Christine, lender. Okay, with the dollar signs. All right, cool. I love it. Cool. So here's what's cool. Like the lenders are out there. It's just a matter of where you're looking. And it's crazy. So sometimes when I go to like these real estate investor clubs or if I'm talking with friends who are in real estate and maybe they only use hard money lenders or something like that, or their own cash. And they're always curious, like, where do you find all of these people? Where are these private money lenders? Where are these people? And it's like private money lenders, you guys, they're not like mythical creatures, right? We are not like Bigfoot. We are just everyday people that want to make a better rate of return on their money, right? And as you can see in the chat box, man, look at all the ones that you could potentially meet with here, which is awesome, right? Just in the chat box. Now, here's what I'll tell you though. I do not recommend just meeting someone in a chat box and all of a sudden, and then going and doing a deal together, right? Like we got to have conversations. You got to have, a Zoom calls together. You got to build the relationship, find out if it's even a good fit for each of you to work together. But here's where I would recommend starting. Okay. We'll do one more slide here. Where are my private money? I'm going to switch this. This is what we're going to talk about today. Where are my private money club members at? All right. So in the chat box right now, go ahead and type, if you're a premier member with Private Money Club. I'm going to show you what Private Money Club is. If you're a premier member with Private Money Club, go ahead and type it in the chat box. Where are my premier members at? All right, cool. Yeah, Tammy, for sure. Herbert, what's up, man? Good to see you. Julie. Okay, they're all coming in. It's all coming in. Now, I'm a big believer that, hey, John, what's up, man? I've been meaning to email you. I'm a big believer that every single person that's on this webinar right now should absolutely be a member of some sort. Okay. So if you're brand new to Private Money Club, and you're like, no, I just got the email, I just got the Zooms, I'm here for the first time, I would go to privatemoneyclub.com. Jose can put the link in there for you. Oh, Jose, beautiful. That's some beautiful co-piloting right there. He's got the link in there, and you can create a free membership, a free profile in Private Money Club. Okay, so you can go create your free profile. If you're a premier member, you guys know there's lots of advantages, messaging capabilities, additional classes and things like that that come with the membership, and masterminds and things like this, right? If you're brand new and you're like, I'm not sure what this is, but you like the idea of building up your private money lender relationships, or you're a lender and you're like, hey, look, I don't necessarily feel comfortable lending to someone that I don't know. Like, is there a process? Is there a community? Is there a way where I can research people and connect with people who are doing deals and doing the business? You all should have a profile, right? Some of you are going to go premier. Some of you might be starting out with a free membership, but it's a beautiful little thing. So like that's a snapshot of my profile. If you are in Private Money Club, go find me. Like, let's connect, right? Follow me, I'll follow you back. But as you can see, there's like next to my name, my wife and I's name there's like a little orange circle. That's a premier membership badge. So you can go to privatemoneyclub.com and see who's a premier member. The pink little one there in the purple check mark, those are certifications that I've taken, right? Which were included with my memberships of classes. So it's really cool. Let me show you kind of what's going on if you're brand new. And then I'll give you some homework and we'll talk about some things that you can do to really have a great 2025. I've got some cool stuff, real easy, simple things that I'm going to share with you. Let's see here. All right. So we're looking here at my profile. So like everyone should be on this call should have a profile. Like, I just don't see why you would spend another 30 minutes on this webinar with me if you didn't just go do it now. Just go do it now. So you can create a little bit about you. You have like a bio section here. You can create your profile and things like this. And then it kind of has like a really clean vibe, kind of like Facebook, but for private money clubs. So like I'm over Facebook. I can't deal with the groups. Everyone's asking me to be in a different group, and it drives me crazy. Like this is a whole community just for private money club, or just for the PMC and private money lending. And as you can see, you can share deals, post groups. You can start a group if you wanted to, things like this. If you have a deal that needs funding, you can click on the deals section. You can post a deal, go through the query of adding all of the information about your project, pictures and things like this. And it pops up on this beautiful website here. And then if we're interested in funding the deal, all we got to do is just click on the deal. Here's 12. This guy, you can see that kind of the highlights: 310,000 new construction loan in Florida, 12% interest. All right, you can click on it. You can see, okay, is this person a premier member? They're a premier member. Here's the rundown on the deal. They've got some documents here where you can click on this and it'll maybe pull up like a report on the property. And if you're interested, I can click I'm interested, and then I can just connect with them right through here to start, right? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And there's also like different types of articles and classes. So new premier members, you can take the borrower certification course, the lender certification course. I believe you get like these points when you enroll that you can use on different classes that you want to take. So you guys kind of get the idea here, right? How you leverage this community. Like I just made a post today. celebrating the last loan of 2024. So, just to give you an idea. So we just closed on this property on Christmas Eve on the 23rd. So I just kind of had a little share about everything that we did here, which is super cool. And, this is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can leverage the Private Money Club platform for your real estate investing or lending business, which is pretty cool. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, let me go here. Wait, I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to pull up my slides. Let me see here. Hold on one sec. Bear with me. Let me see if I need another little workaround here to share my screen again. Okay, let's see. If I wanted to do this one, what would that do? All right, Q&A in the chat box. I see it, and I'm going to answer that in 4 minutes. All right, cool. Can you see my screen? You see my slides again? Just type it in the chat box so I know. Okay, cool. I love it. All right. Thank you. So here's some ideas. And again, on these calls, I like to share what I'm doing. If you have ideas and things that you can share with the group, like, man, that'd be cool. You could definitely let us know as well. But here's some things that I kind of like check off my list because it's the end of the year, right? And so in Private Money Club, if you're like, hey, no, I created a profile, I'm a premier member, it's got this great like chat capability and posting and kind of like Facebook kind of vibe, but I don't know what to post, right? Here's some things that you could post in Private Money Club. And again, this is all about relationships, right? So how many relationships are you cultivating from the website, right? The more relationships that you cultivate from Private Money Club, the more that you build, the easier it's going to be when you have a deal that needs funding. The easier, it's more simple it's going to be when you have money that needs to go into a deal. The absolute best time to plant the seed is right now. It's right now. So like if you have goals next year to flip houses, to buy rental properties, to put your money to work, things like this, the relationships that you build right now are what's going to help you cultivate, that success, right? But if we don't take action today, good luck. Next thing you know, it's going to be June and you're going to be, and you got a goal to do 4 houses next year. You probably won't even be on your first, right? So I want to find my future lenders today. Okay. I want to find my future lenders today. So Christy and I, we're actively shopping. We bought a house right at the end of this year. And, so that January 1st, boom, we got a deal that we're going to be starting construction on. One of our real estate agents just texted me before we hopped on the call. And she said, hey, feel like making some lowball offers today? And honestly, it wasn't in our plans to make any offers today. It's that day after Christmas. And we're like, sure, let's do it. What do you got? And she sent over 10 houses that might qualify with our criteria of what we look for, right? So the work that you do today is going to help you reap the rewards in the future, all right? But here's some things that you could do since it's the end of the year that I've kind of done throughout the last, I don't know, however long we've been using Private Money on Facebook. But I want everyone in this group to post something here in Private Money Club, okay? So you got to stand out. I want people clicking on your profile to find out who is this person, right? Who is Alex McReekin, right? I want Alex, do you have a Private Money Club profile? If you don't yet, I'm giving you some love, man. I want you to go find Alex in Private Money Club, click on his link and read his bio and see what they're all about, right? Make a move. As Jose says, make a move, right? William's making moves, right? So here's some ideas. Let's go through some of these things, okay? Let's go through some of these things. So I got 4 ideas for you guys. Number 1, case studies. So type it in the chat. How many of you successfully flipped a house or bought a rental property with private money lending this year? Just say me in the chat box. All right. William's done, I probably, if I were to guess, I'd say almost 100, right? Rachel, Tammy, I love it. So William, Rachel, Tammy, John, here's what I want to do. Susan, okay, they keep coming in. Here's what I want you all to do. It's up to you. You don't have to do this. I don't care. But this is a good idea. Take one of your, I don't want to say your most successful deals. Take a project that is like your sweet spot. It's your bread and butter. It's the average deal of what does it look like to work with Tammy Smith? What does it look like to work with John? What does it look like to work with Susan? All right. So this is what we want. Here's 4 ideas for posting in Private Money Club. Okay. Number 1 is case studies. You could do one, you could do all of them, right? That's really up to you. All right. So you could share the end results of those deals. You could share before and after photos of those deals, learning experiences from those deals. Here's a good one. Let's share how much your private money lender made. You follow me? So the picture there, the image there is an actual deal that I posted this morning in Private Money Club. And I had presented this deal on webinars with Private Money Club. I had presented this deal in Private Money Club in the forum. I'd presented this deal, I think it was on my company website. So I talked about this probably in the accelerator class as an example. And so we just sold this property on December 23rd. And so now we're celebrating it, right? So the idea here is credibility, right? And we're showing people what it looks like to work with us. What are our price points? What kind of interest do we pay, right? What kind of interest did our lenders make? So case studies can be phenomenal to post, not just at the end of the year, but throughout the year, okay? And if you do have like a Facebook presence and things like this, maybe you post it there too, right? Don't talk about how much money you've made. All right. That's a big mistake. I see too many people on social media that talk about, oh, we made this much money on the deal. Talk about how much your lenders made on the deal. Okay. Talk about how much your lenders. B&A is before and after, like before and after photos, right? Before and after photos. Great question. All right. So case studies. If you've got a deal that you've done and hey, was it even a Private Money Club member? How many of you have done a deal with other Private Money Club members? And those could be case studies. Say me in the chat box. How many of you have done a deal with a Private Money Club member? All right, Rachel. So Bill, Christine, William. So I would share case studies with other Private Money Club members so that other people in Private Money Club can see like, wow, okay, like this is a great experience, right? I want to work with someone who's had some success already. All right. So that's a good one. That's a good one. I'd also go, here's another idea, total interest paid. Total interest paid. So this time of year, you're probably getting all your tax stuff. Well, maybe that starts January 1st, but you're getting all your tax stuff together, right? And you're calculating how much interest you've paid to your private money lenders. That's probably something maybe we talk about that next week, but that's probably something you're starting to do and starting to think of, right? So you're already doing this work for your taxes. I would be bragging on the PMC website how much interest you paid last year to your lenders. Now, let's say you've been using hard money, or let's say maybe you have rental properties and it's not a private lender that funded that deal. You're still paying interest on an investment property. So whatever those totals are, let's start seeing some posts in the Private Money Club platform, right? Does that make sense? Start posting it. Hey, last year I paid over, $100,000 in interest. That's awesome. I would be bragging about that, right? Not necessarily, hey, I did 54 deals. I'd say, hey, this is how much we've paid our lenders. But then, have like a call to action to it. Like, hey, if you'd like to be a part of some of our deals or whatever, like message me and let's set up a time to talk, on Zoom or something like that, or over the phone, right? Maybe you haven't done a deal yet. All right. This is a good one. I love this one. Is there anyone that's been a member of Private Money Club, but maybe you've just done 1 or 2? Like, don't feel like it's something that, you have to do 100 deals or anything like that. Like, I think this year, Christy and I, my wife and I, we're like less than 20. I think it's right around 15 or something like that. Like, we have different types of levels of ambition, I guess you could say. So no matter where you are on that spectrum, it's all good. Maybe for you, you can brag about kind of, you're posting up your resume, right? What type of education you got. Hey, this year I haven't done any deals yet. However, I did take this course and this course, and I'm ready to hit the ground running in 2025, right? I have a question here. Is the accelerator course suitable for a startup newbie? Yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely recommend it if you are brand new. If you are brand new, I absolutely would. I don't like guaranteeing things or anything like that, but you will accelerate your growth and your knowledge base, and you'll go about doing things the right way right out of the gate. So if you are thinking about it and you're brand new, I would absolutely take the class because you're just going to learn how to do things the right way. If you aren't, if you're experienced, then I have a lot of people on here that were experienced, like William, for instance. William in the chat box, so I see quite active here. Very experienced, took the class, and I don't know anyone that talks more highly about it than he does. So I think no matter where you're at, it's a good fit for everybody. You bet.
Your real estate business lives and dies by the network and the connections that you make. I mean, after all, your network, well, it's your net worth. That's what you always heard, right? If that's an area where you desire improvement, well, Private Money Club, it's for you. PMC saves you precious time and money by bringing the real estate world, well, right to you, right in the palm of your hand. So get in on the action like so many others have by going to privatemoneyclub.com and sign up.
What's your community like, right? How many live events did you go to, right? I think that'd be kind of cool, real estate related or not. How many Money Tank events did you go to this year? This year, I went to 2 Money Tank events, one in Salt Lake. The last one, maybe Raleigh was fit in last year too. Yeah, anyways, 3 live events, crushed it, had a great time. I made this many relationships, things like this, right? I've been a PMC member now for the last 18 months and love it. Looking forward to 2025. So I'm giving everyone here ideas of how to post into the Private Money Club to kind of recap the year to help you stand out so that people can start, scheduling time to talk with you and message you and things like this, right? Which is super cool. I'm very new to all of this. That's great. Every Thursday at 1:00, we're here talking and training and networking and doing things, right? So do you like the RIA? Do I like the RIA? Yeah, I think there's good real estate investor associations all over the country. I like the one where I'm at. There's a couple of groups that I like where I'm at for sure. Yeah, that'd be a good place. And then maybe on top of it all, or maybe this is a separate post or something like this, let's talk about your goals. Maybe you say, hey, my goal for 2025 is to have 5 flips. My goal for 2025 is to put my money to work at a nice double-digit rate of return and to work with and to meet a couple more people to lend my money to. Whatever your goals, let's post it in the Private Money Club group to gain some traction, right? Put it out there, right? And by the way, you could post these things in Facebook and social media and things like this, but I just think it's a great time of year to recap what you have accomplished in 2024 and to let the world know what you're going to go do in 2025, right? I love it. She says, my goal for 2025 is to flip 4 homes. Lavenia. All right. So Lavenia, I hope I'm saying your name the right way. Okay. So before we go and flip those homes, okay, she says this person is saying, hey, I have a goal of flipping 4 houses. So let me ask you a question, right? Get ready to type in, participate here. What does the average deal look like for you? Okay. Do you have your neighborhood picked out? Do you have an idea of how much it's going to cost to do those renovations? Okay, cool. They said yes. Okay, great. So what's the dollar amount? Like, are you doing like fix and flips, rental properties? What type of real estate? What's your goal here? I guess, you said flips. All right. So fix and flips. So if you were one of my accelerator students in my class, and I put a big emphasis on this, what we got to work on is your business model, right? So as you start talking to private money lenders, you're going to say, hey, our goal this year is to flip 4 houses. Okay, great. Well, what does that look like? So imagine if you went on the show Shark Tank and you went to Mark Cuban, Mr. Wonderful, Barbara, Damon, and you were like, hey, here's the plan. I'm going to pay you 12% on your money, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to flip 4 houses. They would say, well, hold on a minute. How much are these houses? How much are the repairs? What does your team look like? So on and so forth, right? If you could have the greatest product in the world, the greatest widget in the world, you go on Shark Tank and you can't tell them the numbers, what the purchase, how much it costs to make that product, what the average dollars per customer is, and things like this. They're going to say, yeah, I'm out. Right. So what I want you to do is to start thinking about what your numbers are. and figuring out how much each deal looks like for you, right? Do you have a neighborhood picked out? Do you have a price point? So I'll ask you, if you could, what would be the average amount needed to fix and flip a house where you're going to be investing? Type that in the chat box. What's the average amount that you think you will need? 160K. I love it. Okay. So your goal this year is to flip 4 houses. So what's 160 times 4? I got to get out my calculator. Finance major here. I still got to get out my calculator to figure this out. 160 times 4. What's 160 times 4? 160 times 4, 640,000. So your private money goal is 640,000. 640,000. So, and this is what's going to help a person get all 4 deals done. So what a lot of people do is they make the mistake of saying, okay, I just need $160,000 per deal. So once I have that one lender and they're going to do 160, I'm just going to use the same person over and over again. But we all know real estate doesn't work like that. So you got to make sure that you've got the one deal lined up, or it's never going to work out where you have one house that you buy, sell, and the next day, 3 months later, you got your next deal, and then you can use that money over and over and over again, right? What I would recommend is going out and building enough relationships where you've got 640,000 plus ready to go. People, meaning people that trust you, want to do business with you, and say, hey, I have this much I can put into a loan with you. Does that make sense? So that's your private money lending goal for 2025. Okay. And if you're like, man, I need help finding those people, then go create the profile in Private Money Club and start networking with people, attending live events, and really start focusing on relationships. If you want to get great at this, you don't focus on the dollar amounts, you focus on the relationships. All right. And so how many conversations do you have to find those 2 or 3 people that can help you get there? Right. So focus on that. All right. Good stuff. Great stuff. All right, cool. Ooh, Jose, we're on fire here, Jose. I'm almost out of breath from everything that's going on. Make a move. So everything that we do is to help build these 3 things here: credibility, clarity, confidence, right? Community. Whether it's on these calls, it's in the accelerator program. I know people struggle with private money lending because they've never done it before. It's very easy for someone to go to a bank and ask for money because that's what we've always done. Not a lot of people have ever gone to a person and asked them for $640,000. Hey, you got $640,000? It's just like, wait, what are you crazy? Right? So because we haven't done it before, and someone said get denied from the bank, right? Because we haven't ever done this before, it can seem like, oh, we don't have enough credibility, like I'm not really sure how it works. And if you don't have the first 2, then the confidence comes down, and then you never take action. So the whole idea here is education, taking action, making a move, right? And having faith that you can get this project done, right? Again, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it can be simple, right? It can be simple. So here's what I recommend before we dive into some elevator pitch practice here. We still got 15 minutes. I got a couple questions I got to answer in the Q&A as well. So every single person on this call should make a move. I truly believe that. Some of you have already done some of these things. Every single person on the call right now should have a PMC profile or plan on setting up a PMC profile, Private Money Club profile. There's a free option. Create the free profile, put your information in, get rocking and rolling. And I would recommend scheduling a call with Jose or one of the PMC team members so that they can walk you through how to utilize the club, right? They can give you a tour. They can show you around. That's what Jose does, right? If you already are a member and you have not taken the classes yet, it might be a good time. There's 2 free courses in there that come with your memberships: the borrower certification course and the lender certification course. There's also a contract law certification course in there, I believe. You can choose which ones you want to do and get little badges next to your name. We've got some downtime. If you're home from work right now this week or whatever, like, hey, take a couple hours, time block it, and go get in the Private Money Club and take those classes. If you haven't taken the accelerator course yet, I would highly recommend it. I think we're almost filled up, Jose. You would know better than me. Last time I checked, it was about halfway full, and that was a few weeks ago. But our next class is January 27th. right? January 27th. And my wife is teaching a class. I don't know if you guys are into this. Maybe next week we can show some more mobile home case studies. But if you've ever thought to yourself, hey, I think there's money to be made in mobile homes and manufactured homes, I would say you're right. My wife back here, the hustle and poster here, that's my wife, Christy Duckett Harris, and she teaches a class for the Private Money Club. And it's called the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. So if you're on this call and you're like, hey, I think I always knew there was opportunities to invest in manufactured homes, and we're doing a beautiful one right now. It's 4.33 acres, really good school district, good part of town, and it's going to be one of the simplest flips that we do next year. If you're on the call right now and you've got a smaller dollar amount that you want to lend, ding 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 ding. If you're on this, I'll say that again. If you're on this call right now and you've got a smaller amount that you want to lend and you want a first position mortgage as your collateral, not a second or a third type of thing, maybe manufactured homes is something that you want to look into, want to dive into. There's smaller price points. We did a deal recently. It was $18,000 was the purchase price, right? I mean, so that could be a good opportunity for people. We've always been taught, hey, we want to make sure we get a first position lien, lots of due diligence if it's a second position, right? Chris always says, if you're not first, you're last. Manufactured homes could be a good opportunity for that. Oh yeah, Jose just put in the link there. If you want to learn about what that looks like and what the dates are and things like that, you can click on the link right there. That's a good one. That's a fun one. But yeah, accelerator class is coming up, starts January 27th. We do limit it to 20 people just because it is only me. And I want to make sure that I give everyone as much attention one-on-one as I can if they're asking for it and if they're requesting it and needing it. So that starts January 27th. All right. So let's get into the elevator pitches here. Take action, folks. That's the name of the game. This isn't just, this is fun. It's fun listening and everything to me. And I guess you eat your lunch and listen to this crazy guy talk about private money lending for 60 minutes. But the idea here is that you take action and you do something with it, right? Hopefully. All right. So here's some elevator pitch stuff. We're going to practice this real quick and then we'll get on, we'll answer some questions and we'll wrap up. Okay. So private money loan. So whenever I'm talking elevator, I had someone on the call the other day that was like, hey, do you have a script? I don't necessarily operate off of scripts. I operate off of framework, if that makes sense. So I'd much rather give you like the skeleton and then have you fill in and make it your own. Like I'm going to give you the context and the content, but then I want you to go in there and really make it your own. So it sounds natural. I hate scripts, but if I can teach you the context and I think that's a better way to do it. And here's what I mean by this. Whenever I teach the elevator pitch, if let's just say I'm a borrower, I'm gonna teach from the borrower's perspective right now. Maybe we'll add some lender stuff here in a minute too. But whenever I'm teaching the elevator pitch, I like to think of it as an actual elevator, like floors. Okay. So the elevator, and I have different types of elevator pitches for different situations. If I am at a networking event, like a real estate investor association meeting or something like that, I might pull out my 30-second, 60-second elevator pitch, right? However, if I really want to build a good relationship, some of my best lenders are not ones that I met and did a 60-second elevator pitch on about becoming a private money lender. A lot of my best lenders are people who have really cultivated the relationship over time. And it might be 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years to ride that elevator. I know you might be thinking, no, that's crazy. I don't have time for that. Well, that's okay. You got the private money club, right? You can get in there and start meeting people right away that already understand what private money lending is and things like that. When I teach the elevator, though, I like to assume that people don't know what it is because like Jose and I, we used to have to do this the old fashioned way. We didn't have private money clubs. So we'd have to go to the real estate association meetings. We'd have to talk to friends and family and show them what private money lending was. And you had to talk to people that were like, wait, I've never heard of this before, right? Now we have the what's the word I'm looking for, Jose? We have the, not the pleasure, but we have it's simple, it's easy. We don't have to do that anymore. We got the private money club, right? We've got the luxury. Okay. So this slide right here is kind of like the first floor of the private money elevator in my mind, right? So a lot of this has to do with explaining what a private money loan is, Before, no one's going to want to be a lender if they don't envision themselves, or if they don't have the self-concept that they are a lender, that they can actually do this. Does that make sense? Like, my kids play hockey. Okay. They don't play football. Like, we love football. My kids don't play football. We play hockey. So at Christmas time, if I bought my son, my 10-year-old son, football cleats, he would be pissed. He'd be like, what? I don't understand. What are these football cleats? Like, I'm a hockey person. Like, and I'm like, well, you like football. We watch the Bills on TV. We play in the backyard. We toss it around. He'd be like, I don't understand. But if I told my son, hey, look, you want to be a great hockey player? He said, yeah. You want to train? You want to work out? You want to be really fast when you're skating? He said, yeah. I'd be like, all right, great. Well, it'd probably be a good idea if we did some sprints in the yard, get some exercise, do some. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And you don't want to trip your ankle or fall down or anything like that. No, I don't want to do that. All right, cool. So I got you these cleats. And be like, oh, these cleats are awesome. I've given my son the self-concept that he's a type of person that loves getting football cleats for Christmas. Right. So I hope this makes sense. This is kind of like high level stuff. I don't know. Normally, Jose, we don't talk about this type of stuff, but it's important that we help people realize that they can be lenders. This is for anyone and everyone, right? Anyone that wants to make a nice return on their money can be a private money lender, right? So how do we do this? We got to say, hey, look, this is like a loan. It's like a loan, just like a bank. It's secured by real estate. And this is how I help people realize that they can do this and what this is. So I'll ask them, hey, have you ever bought your own house? Do you own the home you live in? Most of the time they say yes. And usually I know if they are or aren't before I would ask that question, right? And they're going to say yes. When you went to the closing and you got your keys, you signed a big stack of papers, right? And they're going to say, yeah, I remember signing those papers. Well, absolutely. Well, you got a mortgage. Yep. You signed a contract to outline the terms of the loan and all that stuff, how much interest was and all that. Yep. You called your local State Farm agent and you told them that you were getting a mortgage and you needed insurance for your house and things like this, your new home. They're going to say, yeah, we did all of those things, right? So here's the beautiful thing about this. Everything that you did for your bank, we do for you. It's the same process. It's the same. It's very similar paperwork. Everything that you did for Wells Fargo, it's very similar. We're going to have you sign documents. We're going to sign documents for you that we're going to give to you, just like you did for your bank. And watch the light bulb start to go off, right? Watch the smiles, watch the ahas, and you let them know, hey, anyone can do this. Anyone can be the bank, right? And so once they understand that, hey, anyone can do this, now they're ready to go to the next floor. And when you're doing the elevator pitch, the only person that should be pushing the button to get to the next floor is the person that you're talking to. It's not us. I'm never going to force someone to hear about this. I'm never going to just vomit this information over someone that doesn't want to hear it. Right. At no point am I selling anyone. I'm just, when they're ready to learn more, they push the button. They ask the questions. Hey, tell me more about that. I want to learn more about that. Well, okay. So it's the same paperwork, but like, what type of interest rates do you pay? Ding, you're going up to the next floor. Right. So if you're a borrower, it's really important that you know what interest rates you're going to be paying. What's your game plan, right? Just like the Shark Tank, just like we talked about, right? Yeah. So what we do is this is what I say for my short-term stuff. We pay anywhere from 8 to 12% in annualized interest. Each loan opportunity is unique. Now, anytime that you say the percentage, people are going to be, there's this thing called optimism bias, where they're going to be like, whoa, 12%, that sounds awesome. I'm making 12%. And they're going to be thinking about it. If you go to someone on New Year's Eve while you're pouring out the champagne, you say, oh yeah, we pay anywhere from 8 to 12%. You just ruin their night or ruin their date's night. Because the whole time the person's thinking about the 12%, right? They're not thinking about what's going on. They're like, wow, that seems awesome. That seems awesome. But here's the thing. When we mention money, there's lots of times there might be like the negative thing, little voice in their head. Well, is this too good to be true? 12%, geez, that seems like a lot. 14%, gosh, that seems like a lot. 10%, that seems like a lot. I thought, isn't that a lot for a mortgage? I thought 7% was a lot for a mortgage, right? So you might have some doubt creep in, right? So I always like to solidify after I talk numbers, because we do pay really high interest rates to people to make it attractive. Well, what's next? We let them know that everything that we do is by the book. Like this isn't a handshake deal. This isn't like just lending funds frivolously. No, there's collateral. We do things the right way, very similar to like what a bank would want. So we always provide these documents here: promissory note, mortgage or deed of trust, right? Promissory note outlines the terms of the loan. Mortgage or deed of trust is helps us collateralize, right? If someone doesn't pay, we can go after that, foreclose on the property, right? Personal guarantee. I always provide a personal guarantee. So even though you're working with my company, I'm going to be personally guaranteeing that loan as well, in addition to. And we always provide insurance, just like a bank would want. Now, let me be very clear, there is more to it than this. So if you're thinking about lending, at a minimum, we want to talk about promissory note, mortgage, personal guarantees, and insurance. There's more, all right? But this is just for conversation purposes. 45 minutes ago, I was talking about my friends who lost money lending. They didn't come to me. They didn't know what they were doing. They just saw someone was going to pay them 15% on their money. They got burnt, right? Or they were going to get burnt. I was able to help them out. But here's where they went wrong. They might have only had one of these. They only had a promissory note. They didn't have the mortgage. They didn't have a personal guarantee. They didn't have insurance on the property. All the problems I hear with private money, for the most part, it all comes down to people not having at least these four things. Okay. So if you're thinking about lending, it's really important. And this is why we do the accelerator class too. Like there's a lot to cover and things like this. Like if you're like, man, I want to make sure I'm driving around that iron tank. Like I don't want to be like caught out in the cold with my underwear. Make sure that you have these. I'd also go as far as like asking for a lender's title policy and things like this. But for conversation purposes, I would want to see these things provided to me. Okay. Does that make sense? Is the chat still working? I feel like everyone's listening. Maybe they're not just going to get, oh yeah, in the chat box. Or I hope I'm not just talking to myself. Okay. Okay, great. All right. Thank you. All right, cool. Hey, Albert, good to see you. All right. So show me the money. So all the document, now the money's there. The documents are there. I don't know how you're going to do your business, but how I do my business and how I like to teach the accelerator students to do their business is we always want to have things done by professionals. All the documents are prepared and recorded by a licensed professional, right? Real estate attorney. I've got my real estate attorney card here somewhere here in my office. Emily with Bell Carrington, Price and Greg here in Columbia, South Carolina. It's always nearby. So I'm going to let the lenders know, the potential lenders know, hey, look, it's not me. That's drafting these documents. Like we have a real estate closing. We do title searches. We have a team right now, a real estate attorney. We work with this great company, this great attorney at that company, at that firm. They've been doing it a long time. And if you want to use them, they can help draft your mortgage, your promissory note, everything. Right. And that goes for all areas of real estate, whether it's our when we're fixing and flipping houses, we have contractors, right? Not handyman. I'm not doing it. That's for sure. We have contractors. When we go to sell our houses, we have the best real estate agents in town. The list goes on and on. If we're property management, if we're renting properties, the property management company is great, right? So you're only as good as your team. That'd be the other bit. Lavinia, I would tell you this too. If your goal is to flip 4 houses this year and you want to get your $640,000 in private money, you got to start figuring out who your team is going to be. Who's your contractor? Who's your real estate agent? Who's your insurance person? Who is going to be drafting the documents? Make sure all that stuff is getting worked out, right? And this is just another floor, right? At this point here, and we're going to end on this, at this point here in the elevator, the only thing that we're working on really, guys, is the next step. Okay. The only thing I'm concerned about when I'm doing this elevator pitch here is the next step. And the next step is a meeting. The next step is a Zoom call. It's a phone call. There's a good chance that wherever you're going through this elevator, it's not the appropriate time to talk business, if that makes sense. Even at networking events, it's not the appropriate time to talk business. It's the appropriate time to meet people, to set up appointments, to go talk business. So how you leverage Private Money Club is the same exact way. Private Money Club is not a place where you're going to message someone and then you're going to say, okay, do I make the check out to you? No, Private Money Club is where you meet people. And then it's up to us to have the conversations, to figure out who we like, who we don't like. Do we want to do this deal? Do we want to pass on this deal? Right? We want to make sure. So the goal here with the elevator pitch, just remember this: when you're New Year's Eve and you're pouring your champagne out, it's not to get the check. It's not to get funds right then and there. It's to set up a time where you can discuss it the proper way. If that makes sense, just give me a big, oh yeah, in the chat box. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to answer some questions here. And so we do this every single Thursday. We practice. I think, I'm 100% confident that if I sat down with someone who had funds that they were looking to put to work as a private money lender, they would want to lend me the money. I'm 100% confident in that because I'm do this every week. I'm practicing with you guys every single week. Next week, I'm going to get Tanya. Tanya is gonna host the webinar, and no, I'm just kidding, Tanya. But you got to practice. We got to practice, right? A couple questions here. Let's just see. Maybe I answered them already. I have a hard money coming due in March. I finished the rehab. I have it listed. I'm worried about time for it to sell. Not sure what to do. Hey, sometimes, Martin, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and start talking to your hard money lending company, figuring out what it looks like to do an extension if you haven't done so already. There might be some fees, but they'll probably do it. And I don't know what your house looks like if it's staged. Here's what I tell you: if your house, and I learned this the hard way. Like your properties right now, if it's like a fix and flip type of deal, they got to be perfect. They have to be perfect. This last rehab that we did, I just posted in Private Money Club. We were 10 grand over budget, but we decided to go the extra mile with putting in higher end stuff, higher end materials, doing things we initially weren't planning on doing, because we knew we were uncertain of the times. We want to make sure this house is absolutely perfect. No one's going to walk in and have an issue with anything. And we stage all of our houses. So I don't know if you stage your houses or not, but kitchens, masters, baths, living room, minimum need to be staged. And I think if, hopefully if you're doing those things, then you're going to start to get more traction and people are going to be able to really fall in love with your properties. I hope that helps a little bit. Stage your houses if you haven't done that already, right? What advice would you give to a newbie with no skin in the game? Michael, I would surround myself with the best of the best. If you are brand new, you don't have a whole lot of experience, you don't have a whole lot of credibility in the eyes of a lender yet. So how are you going to establish that? Before I start asking people for funds, I'd find out who my attorney is, who my real estate agent is, who's my contractors, who are they going to be. Find people that you can brag about, find people that have been doing it for a long time successfully. And then remember, your job as a real estate investor is you're essentially the project manager. Okay. So you can talk to a lender, the lender say, hey, how many deals have you done? How many have you done? And you might say, hey, I haven't done any. But for the last 15 years, I've been in this career. Here's what I learned from that career, how it can transition over into real estate investing. But before I ever went and talked to you or any other private money lenders, I've gone out and I got the best attorney, I got the best real estate agent, I got the best contractors, I got the best property management companies, so on and so forth. So I might be brand new, but my team has over 100 years of real estate investing experience. And so that kind of like, is that good? Right? Maybe want to watch the tape back on that one. How would a conversation go between you and a potential lender or borrower? Well, I think the biggest thing here, how would the conversation go between a potential lender and borrower? The biggest thing that we got to figure out, Michael, is what's the lender's goal and how can I help them? Right? There's a solution to every problem. What's the problem? What's the solution? And I'm going to try to figure out what that person's problems are and I'm going to solve them. Right? So each conversation is different. Every single one of them. Nothing is ever the same. Nothing that I do will go exactly the same as for me as it did for you. Right? So I don't know how that's going to go, but it's really important that you put the emphasis on how can I serve my lender? What's going on in their life that's making them thinking about being a private money lender, and how can I serve it up to them? So for instance, if I'm talking to someone and they're saying, hey, I don't make a whole lot of money with my money in the savings account, I'm looking for alternatives. Bingo. How do you serve that person? Well, you can pay them a better rate of return, most likely, than they can make in their savings account. Right. So I got to figure out what their problems are and be the solution. All right. So we're wrapping up here. I got one more question, but yeah, hey guys, hit us up. Text Jose, click on the link right there that ends in Blueprint 1. Join Private Money Club if you haven't already. Become a free member. I don't see why anyone is not doing that. I think everybody is, if I were to guess, right? If you're on the call and you want to learn more about private money lending, hop on our webinars every single Thursday. Join the Private Money Club. It's Chris always calls it the campfire. Yeah, it's like a camp. It is. It's like, we're all have the same goals, and have that mentality of abundance mindset where we can all help each other. Can you check my PMC profile, see if there is an improvement, anything helps? on my bio as a lender. You can put in the big screen. I'd appreciate it. Oh, okay. That was the old question. I got you, Justin. We'll save that for another time. I'll look into it, but we're not going to do that on this call here. So I want to make sure that you get off on the right foot, but I'll check it out. Justin Streeper. Everyone go and friend Justin in PMC and check out his bio. Let us know what you think. Who does it serve? Does it service all U.S. territories? PMC? I don't think there's any restrictions on being a member. Each state might have its own lending laws and things like that that you might want to look into. But to my knowledge, anyone can become a member of PMC. And William has some deals. I like it. William's networking in here. I'll leave his number up here for a few more seconds so you guys can get it if you haven't gotten it already. And I'm not endorsing William. I'm not saying, hey, oh yeah, you should definitely lend to William, but he might be a good person to have a conversation with, right? And that way you can feel it out, check out his business model, check out what he's got going on and where he lives, find out what kind of loans he likes to do, what type of dollar amounts, what he's comfortable with, what you're comfortable with, and see if it's a good fit, right? Maybe ask him for a reference or two, right? So there's a process to it. And, you know, he's taking the accelerate. He knows to provide you guys with all the right stuff, right? So, all right, cool. All right, everyone. Well, this was a fun one. There's not going to be a Quickstart webinar next week, January, I think 2nd or 3rd. I can't get on the computer then. So we'll resume, I think, January 9th or 10th, whatever the second Thursday of January is. So happy New Year, everybody. And I will see you in 2025. All right. Take care.